Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. He's Gary Groob, and we have a very, very special guest in Nathan Woods, an NLL star, Whitby, Brooklin Lacrosse Club, and a lot of other places in between and before that. Nathan, welcome to the program. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
I'm glad you appreciate it. I'm telling you, it's great to talk to all the players, coaches, even we talk to owners, and we talk also to the commissioners of the National Lacrosse League. So we've had a chance to talk to everybody. I'm looking forward to what you have to tell us and what we can learn about your history. But I guess the first question we always like to ask is, how did you pick up a stick?
I first started actually playing baseball. I grew up playing hardball when I was younger till about 10. And then one winter, one of my buddy's dads, he's like, I've seen the way you play hockey. I think you should come out and try lacrosse one time. So I went out, started playing house league when I was about 10. And then ever since I picked it up, I just loved it and then kept playing with it and brought me here today. So I'm pretty happy I picked up that stick.
Now you're happy, but what feeds that happiness? What is it about the game that really, engages you?
I don't know. I was always an active kid. So just kind of how tenacious and rough it is, because I guess I was a bit of a rougher guy when I was playing all the sports, and I just kind of really liked it. And also when you're playing it, I feel like everything just kind of goes away. It's just kind of playing the game. It's just a fun game to play. I don't know. Whenever I play it, I'm always happy, and I'm always just having fun playing it. So that's kind of why I love it.
The intensity.
Yeah, there's always just something going on, and it's just always a thrill and a rush during the game. There's not, because it's super fast too, so you're not kind of sitting there waiting. You're getting off, you're trying to catch your breath because you're about to go back out there in 30 seconds to a minute. So
in hockey, you can glide. In lacrosse, when you stop running, you stop.
Exactly.
And so it's very taxing, I think, and to be able to think and make plays in that area, the way the game is played, that's the big challenge as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that I work with. I tell them, they ask me what I do and stuff outside of work, and I tell them that I play lacrosse, and they've always seen it and heard of it. And they said, I picked up a stick a couple of times. They're like, I kind of got the catching and passing out. But I don't understand how you guys are throwing it 100 miles an hour and catching it on the run, catching it with one hand, throwing it behind your back, and doing all this sorts of stuff. And it's just kind of one of those things that you just start doing it and you can just pick it up. And there's a point where I found with myself, it just kind of clicks and it all just starts to kind of flow naturally. But obviously, the more wall ball you do, obviously, the better it gets. But
that's part of the reason why I think that, because the game is the way it is, I think that's why players respect each other so much in lacrosse, because it really is a game that you really have to work hard. Because if you're not working hard, it shows right away. A hockey player can spin in the corner, right, or spin out of the corner, not move a leg, not use any effort. But for you to do that, the biggest, I think the play I like the most from lacrosse players, and I think where they work really hard, is when they spin in either the defensive or offensive zone. That spinning motion, that stop and start, is really hard. You use a lot of energy to stop, then you got to get going again. It's really proud of the way you guys can handle that and the way you do it.
Yeah, some of the guys, I don't understand how they do it. They'll spin, and then they'll get another spin going right through three guys, right through the middle. And it's if you do that a half a second or a quarter second later, the guy's right on you, and then you're on the floor. It's pretty crazy how some people can do and move like that.
It totally is. Well, again, thanks for that. I'll hand you over to Gary. I hope he doesn't fry you too crisp. I don't know. You in the mood to fry him crisp today, or is this going to be an easy, laid back one?
I think we'll be okay here.
Okay, good.
I want to talk about growing up in Ottawa first off, and the lacrosse growing up. Who was your the earliest role models as you were coming up?
Earliest role models, I guess just kind of growing up watching the game. I always loved Mark Matthews, but out of Ottawa, there was JP Cayley. He was an Ottawa guy who grew up playing. Callum Crawford, another Ottawa guy, Kyle Buchanan, just kind of those guys. Just watching them when I was younger, going out to the junior B games and stuff, or some of the senior B games when they were playing there, just watching how they played was just kind of awesome to see that people from this area are able to kind of make it out, because you don't really hear a lot of people coming from Ottawa, but now it's starting to grow. when I first started playing minor lacrosse here in Ottawa, there weren't that many kids, but now it's like one of, I think, the top 5 biggest organizations in Ontario, which is great to see. Like when I first started, there was team 1 and team 2, and then sometimes some of the team 1 guys had to come down and play. So that way there could be a team 2, and now there's a team 1 all the way to team 6. So it's just awesome to see kind of how much it's grown and how like, I guess, much inspiration those kind of players who started playing when there weren't many here, and just how many people they kind of inspired to keep playing.
People forget that Ottawa was the first team to be in the NLL. They were one of the first teams. So the history of lacrosse in Ottawa goes back.
Goes way back.
Yeah, we had Brad Joseph on the show not long ago, and he was talking about it in the formation, of course, of the Olympian program and things like that. And it really was really interesting to hear all the things that went through as he was helping to build that. But I want to talk a little bit about the coaching, and who would you say was the one who really shaped your approach?
Shaped my approach? I've kind of got like 3 coaches around there. Like I had Kurt Keeley kind of at a young age, kind of, I think, in bantam and midget and stuff. He was my coach, and he was just kind of, I like kind of the older style of coaching, like old hard nosed. Just you go out there, you have a job, you go do it. They don't take any crap. There's a certain way to do it. If you don't do it, then you have to run and stuff. That's just kind of the way that I feel like just fits with me better versus some people who are a bit nicer and stuff. I feel like I get more focused that way, and I just kind of work harder because I always want to try and impress them and show them that I'm here and that I'm willing to do it and I want to do it. And there's Jay Tosse, who played professionally as well. He played in Ottawa as well. He's a great lacrosse coach and kind of always gave you that confidence to go out there and play like how you should play, and he knows how you play. And then if you're kind of off your game, he's there like telling you like, you know what you can do, you're good at this, and he just kind of gives that confidence back into you. And then just kind of Matt Firth was just he was an awesome coach. He was always out there. He didn't matter like who you were, how good you were. He'd sit you if you're having a bad or not having a bad game, but if you were being rude or something, yelling at the refs. We could be down by 1, we need the top scorer in. He'd sit him down, like our best defender. We needed him out there. If they were yelling at the refs and being obnoxious, he'd sit them and just kind of showing you that it's not all about how good you are. It's about how hard you try and respecting the game as well, which I absolutely loved.
Yeah, accountability is a big thing.
Yeah.
And I know your game, and it stays with you too. So when did you think about the defense and transition? That was your niche.
I think it was kind of in hockey, I was defense. So I kind of, I guess, gradually gravitated towards it just from playing defense. But I don't know. I just kind of like to just keeping people to the outside. Everyone thinks scoring the goals is the pretty thing and awesome, but I don't know. There's just something about defense that I just kind of like being able to keep someone to the outside, strip the ball from them, and then if you go down and score, it looks even better on your part too. So just kind of stripping the ball and just kind of taking those top goal scorers away on the other team, just showing them that like, hey, you're not that good. I'm here and I can stop you. It's just, I don't know. I just kind of find it fun. And then I think midget was the first year that we went from having offense and defense versus the years before. It was kind of played both ways, but I just kind of stuck with it and ran with it, and I loved it. And I'm happy I didn't choose offense. I don't know. I just love defense. There's something about it. I can't really put like words to it. I don't know. I just love it.
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Not everything has to be an ESPN highlight reel goal. Yeah. There's a lot more to our game, and it helps make it a 3-dimensional thing to see it and to see it done well. Let's talk a bit about the Nepean Knights. And originally, what would you say about the Nepean Knights, which taught you about your physicality, and we're talking about accountability again?
I guess just with all like the older guys that were there when I was younger that first started playing there, they were all accountable because they all had Matt as a coach when they were younger and stuff. So just seeing that and kind of learning from them. And then for my last year as well, I was an assistant captain. So when you're out there on the floor and off the floor, you're not only representing yourself, but the whole organization, kind of everyone that's on your team. And you're out there and you're the older guy now that kind of has to show these new guys coming in about accountability and kind of respecting the game. And so I think the last year was kind of the biggest part of where it kind of really taught me about that.
Right. When would you figure your role changed from being one of the newer guys to being that guy to show everybody else the ropes?
It was kind of tough because I had my first 2 years, and then the 2 years in between I missed because of COVID. So I kind of missed my big, I guess, years in junior. We were kind of in the middle where you kind of make a name for yourself to jump up to junior A. But I'd have to say it would kind of be the last year, because the first 2 years you're still kind of the younger guy on the team. Everyone's still 2, 3 years older than you and stuff like that. So my last year when I was the oldest one, a bunch of new guys that came in, some guys that missed their whole midget career. So the last time they played was Bantam, and now they're all the way up to junior playing against 21-year-olds and 20-year-olds and stuff versus 15-year-olds and 16-year-olds. So they're definitely a bigger jump for them. So
Right. During COVID, it's a great question is what did you do to keep yourself active?
I was still just kind of playing and stuff, just doing wall ball in the backyard, going on runs and stuff. And then the second year, or maybe it was the first year, once we were able to do like socializing outside and stuff, our head coach, Matt Firth, he ran sessions at an outdoor park. So we do those, I believe, on the weekend every Saturday or something, I believe, when it was nice enough out. So we were out there. Then after that, we did a little tournament with Gloucester where we played each other twice just because they were the closest ones. And then the second year is when we did a little tournament. We played, I think it was just Akwesasne and Gloucester here. Did a little 3 tournament thing because we had 2 teams, so there was 4 teams in it. So everybody played everybody once, and that was kind of those years of junior kind of summed up pretty quick.
Nice. Now everybody hears about junior A and how important this and that and the other is. Talk about something that people maybe wouldn't fully appreciate about junior B.
It's definitely you have lots of guys that are in junior B that could play junior A, but they might just. I find the biggest thing between junior A and junior B is that on junior B you definitely have some guys that are there just because they still like playing it, but everyone in junior A is there because they want to try and make a name for themselves. But those guys in junior B, they go out and work hard, and it's not an easy game, as easy as you think going from B to A. Like my last year, I definitely think we could have went up and competed with some A teams, and there's lots of, well, as you saw, like the Lower Mohawks, they're up there and they have a junior A team now, and they were junior B for a while. But there's lots of teams each year that have great players on it that can definitely compete with junior A teams. But I just think not a lot of people give it a lot of respect just because you hear junior A, so you assume that junior A is better because it's one above. But like, there's a lot of talent in junior B that people are kind of looking over that they're not really taking a deep dive into just because it's junior B.
I agree. You just like senior A and senior B. Honestly, there's enough guys in senior B that could easily step into a senior A lineup as well. And I think the same goes for junior B. And some of the guys that I've watched over the years have just been spectacular and could easily have made a junior A lineup. Sometimes location and other things take precedence.
Yeah.
Let's go into NCAA. You went over to St. Michael's College in Vermont. And me being a skier, man, I like that idea too. But let's talk about that and what drew you to St. Mike's first, and then let's talk about the program itself.
I went there. I did a couple overnights because I went to Kenton, Connecticut for a year. I did a year at boarding school there. So I went down there. They got me down there. I took a train, then flew there, and was kind of there for a weekend. I liked the campus. So I was always like a jittery kid in class and stuff. So I wasn't a big fan of the big classrooms, and that's kind of one of the things that they had there. It was a school of like, I think 13 to 1,400 students, and 90 to like 85% of them were student athletes. So kind of everyone was there for an athletic reason. Everyone knew everyone. It was a small school. Like some of my classes, I only had like 6 people in it. So it was really nice. Like the teachers cared about you, and like, if you were gone for a weekend for a game or something, you were going to miss a class, you'd have plenty of time to go see them, or they'd give you stuff to make sure that you're all sorted out versus just you being a face and 100 students, just kind of teacher won't know if you're there or not day to day. But, and then the coaches, I don't know. I just kind of really like the coaches and stuff. And I knew I kind of wanted to go to a spot where kind of be able to step in, play right away. And they were able to provide that. And I was happy that I was able to step in right away as a first year and start as one of the starting D-middies there. And it was just great. I like the campus too.
Right. So D-midi is a grind. What do you say that separates a great short stick guy from just an average guy?
I'd probably say kind of like being tenacious. A lot of guys, if you just kind of sit back and let them run at you, they're good. They have a full head of steam coming at you. It's not like box where you're in tight. They can set up like 5-10 yards away and come at you. I feel like you kind of got to be out there and you got to approach them and meet them first, and then you have to kind of make them where you want them to go. Don't let them choose where they want to go. Just force them to a spot where you want them to go. And that's kind of the biggest thing that I found that helped. My first couple games, I was a little complacent on my heels and stuff. And after that, I figured out you just got to be up right on your toes, right on them right away, and just kind of don't give them a second another second to think where they want to go.
Right. Now, you had a great career there. You had, 39 goals, 25 assists, 77 ground balls, 39 caused turnovers in 50 games. When would you say that it clicked? That this is, you get this. This is the right idea, especially being
I
a
think,
box kid.
yeah, I think it was probably my sophomore year. Like the first year I went there, I started as an O midi for the first couple games, and I got switched back to a D midi because we had plenty of talent on the O side, but we were kind of lacking a bit in the D midis area. And they knew that I could play defense because I was a two-way midi there, so I'd always stay on and run back and play defense. So
Right.
they thought, why not? Let's try putting you back there, and then instead of going from O to D, you can go up from D to O. Because a lot of the times when you're playing teams, are like the D midi's on, like we can keep. It's fine if our O mid guards them. If our O midi gets stuck on, just let them guard the D mid. There'll be no problem there, and that's kind of where I found a lot of my success. I'd go down and I'd be with an O midi, and then I would be able to go one-on-one on them. Or there's another attackman there that was a year older than me, Max Tavlos. Him and I he was from Massachusetts. Him and he figured out because I talk about box all the time, and he really took a deep dive into learning about it and learning the game. And him and I figured out the pick and roll game just kind of to a T. It was kind of unstoppable at points, which is really what led to my success there. Just kind of coming down the side, beating guys one-on-one, or just going back to the roots and playing box on a big field with a guy. So.
See, that's the other point that I want to get to. As a Canadian playing field, it's usually Canadians play box on a field as opposed to playing field across. And was it easy to adjust to getting blueprints as opposed to playing by field, which is what box is all about?
I think so. Just like being at school, just also from the amount of film that you watch all the time, and it's pretty much like a second job when you're down there. It's just kind of gets instilled into your brain. It's just kind of, it gets like fried in there, just a picture in there, and it becomes pretty easy. And you figure out, like, especially on the home field too, you figure out the field so you kind of know where you are and everything. But the biggest thing that I guess, well, the talking as well in defense, because we're talking all the time on defense, and it's the same thing you do out there. Like, obviously, it's a little bit different because you have to go a bit further when you're sliding in box to come across and help and everything like that. But I felt like I was lucky because of box. It definitely helped me adjust quick. But
I'd say probably your hands also. Being able to do all the other things because you're already used to doing most of the stuff that these guys are still trying to learn as you're getting in there.
Yeah, that was the one thing I had going for me too. Is all of them, they always switch hands, and majority of the time I just go behind the back or throw a twister or something, and they were always kind of jealous, I guess, a little bit of it just because it came so naturally. Because we've been doing it since such a young age, and every single time we go play, and all the young kids see someone do it, so they're always out there practicing. And it's like sometimes my last year I also got put on the man up too, just because that was one thing that I was really good at, that I could just catch it, and if they come, I could either shoot it if they weren't coming, or if they did come, I could go behind the back right away and just kind of place it right there, which not a lot of teams could really, I guess, had an answer for.
Yeah, it'd be foreign to most of them, and I guess you take full advantage of being able to do that. You had quite a bit of success because you were in your senior year, USILA All-American Honorable Mention, USA Lacrosse All-America Honorable Mention, USILA All-North Region, UEILA All New England, and NE10 All-Conference accolades. So you had quite a bit of success while you're there as well.
Yeah, I did. I guess just figuring it out, just each year I try to find little things that I could improve on going through, and that, I guess, that kind of helped me shape to what I was in my senior year, and then also coming back and playing box each year, because those last 2 years, that's when I came back and switched to playing senior B. So I guess at that point I wasn't really playing against college kids anymore. I was playing against men, like dads and stuff, people who have kids and everything, versus guys that are only a couple years older than me. So that was a big difference. Then also when I came back home, I was playing against Joey Rez, Sean Evans, and a whole bunch of guys like that, and Dawson Theed. So just kind of getting used to that, it just felt like a little bit easier going out there and having guys. But I will say, like, my last year did get a little bit boring some games because they'd only dodge on me like maybe 2 or 5 times a game. When you're out there for that long, it gets kind of a little boring a bit because I want to see the action. I want someone to come dodge on me so I can play defense, but I'm always just kind of there helping. But it was, and then just pushing the ball up in transition too. Yeah, that was another thing that kind of helped me in a big way, because everyone from that point on kind of knew, like, this guy's a threat. We can't leave him out there with an O midi, and then they try and shift guys quick, but we have people coming on right away. So it just gave us lots of time in transition to be able to make decisions. And yeah, I don't know. It was just a great year. I ended up pulling my PCL though, so I was out for a couple of weeks with that, which kind of sucked because I feel like if I had those couple extra games under my belt, maybe I could have been a third-team All-American. But I'm still really happy that I was not honorable mention. It was still a great thing to get to receive.
Absolutely. Now the NLL comes knocking, and the hometown team, the Ottawa Black Bears, draft you 64th overall. First of all, what was it like? The hometown team drafts you.
That was a pretty surreal experience because I think I was, the first person from Ottawa drafted from Ottawa since they moved there. So it was just kind of a great thing. I was happy because it's close to home as well. So my family can always come watch whenever they want. I live 12 minutes from the arena. Everything's super close. But just kind of getting that, it also just kind of shows other kids from this area that if you stick to the game and work hard and come through, that you'll be able to get drafted by your hometown team or another team, maybe one of your favorite teams that you grew up watching. So it was definitely a surreal experience. I was sitting there kind of waiting all day, just waiting for the phone to ring. So once I got it, when I first got it, it said it was from New Jersey. I wasn't really sure who it was, but I was like, well, the draft's going on, so I'm going to pick it up and see how it goes. And there they were, and they said they like to draft me, and it was awesome.
Right. My favorite question, your first training camp, was it what you envisioned it was going to be?
I think yes and no. It was a little different because we did it out of the Bell Sensplex, so it wasn't like a big arena. We were in a field house with plastic boards and stuff, so it's like playing on a field that I'm super familiar with, and I already knew some of the guys like Mags I played with over the winter and stuff. Like Larson Sundown, I knew him as well. So there's a few guys there that I played with, and it was definitely different though because there's a bunch of people there. You're all kind of fighting there for a spot, and then obviously you're going up playing against Jeff Teat and training camp and stuff, doing one-on-ones on him against one of the best players in the world. So that was a bit of an experience for a first training camp as well too. But I think it was what I expected, but just not because I didn't know what to expect. So I kind of had all these things envisioned in the back of my mind. And some were true and some weren't because you don't really know what to expect. So you can kind of have these fantasies that might not be true when you're at training camp because you don't really know what's going on. But it was definitely a great experience.
Right. One of the things guys seem to bring up a lot when I ask the question is the difference of speed from junior to NLL. And again, you're going at full bore, especially in training camps.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot faster, especially the offensive players, just the skill that they have with their sticks. It's next level difference from like junior B or junior A. They're just able to zip the passes around. And in junior B, you might be a full step behind a guy and the guy's not open. You're pretty much right on the guy and he's still open. So it's a big difference for what contested is considered. Like there's pretty much anytime you're on the floor as an offensive player, they're always open. So as a D guy, you can't really get caught slacking there. And these guys are a lot smarter. They have a way higher IQ. Some of them have been doing it for a long time, and that's some guys are out there. They just succeed because of their IQ. So they're out there setting picks, getting the guys open for the shot. And those guys, I found those guys were kind of the more tougher ones to guard just because they knew exactly where to be and when to be. They knew how to set their picks, and it was definitely a great experience though, and helped me kind of grasp things and see how much quicker the game is here coming from what I was playing. But it was definitely way quicker. That is very true.
Right. What part of the game did the coaches immediately challenge you to try and improve
on? Talking with them for a little bit, it's just kind of the way with the picking, how it goes and stuff. Because a lot of times in junior, you can kind of sit back and be a bit more complacent, like with how our goalie was. We were fine with the outside shot, so you kind of take the pass away and stuff. It was just more so staying up with the picks right away. And in junior as well, it's when they're far out with the ball, you don't really need to press them because they're not really much of a threat there. And we also had a great goalie. And I find with that, they said you kind of have to be out on their hands right away because you don't want them shopping because they can come in, they can score from there. You've seen it happen multiple times in the NLL that guys can kind of score from all angles and all areas of the field. So it's just kind of getting out there right away and make them make a decision. Don't let them make the decision. Force them to make something happen, kind of.
Right. Well, also there you had Laddie as your coach at that time, and probably one of the most intense defensive guys in NLL history. A little bit different as a coach, but talk about trying to get on the page with him.
Well, it's one thing. Like, he obviously has lots of knowledge about defense and stuff, and just having with everyone out there, I'd always try and like ask him at the end, like, what are little things that you saw that maybe I could improve on, or what are certain things that you liked, and maybe little things that I could step up, or one thing that I shouldn't be doing anymore. I might be doing a little too aggressively, and he just kind of lets you know what you're doing. He saw, like, he's like, you're really fast, you're really great with your speed, so just kind of notice that in transition, that once that shot's there, you don't want to leave too early, that if a rebound bounces off the goalie, if it hits him right in the chest, you want to be able there to help get the loose ball or box out for the loose ball. But you also want to be able to see it, read it perfectly, so it's like right in between the lines where it's, okay, now I'm good to take off, versus now I got to get back and help him get that loose ball.
Right. Now, you went to the training camp at Colorado just this past off season. How was it different from the Ottawa one? What different things did they concentrate on?
With them, it's kind of just pushing the pace, always getting everything going in transition, because it is a very fast game, and you're always going. Sometimes, like, you're out there for a 2-minute stint on defense, you pass it up, maybe there's an errant pass, there's a shot off the post, they pick the ball up, and you got to be able to go right away. It was just kind of having good stick work, lots of drills in like a quick amount of time, just getting your feet underneath you and playing hard-nosed, tough, tenacious defense. And they really like pushing the ball up, getting out right away, getting up and out, getting the passes up, making the right play in transition, getting it over to the O guys if you can, setting the proper seals and everything on offense. But it was very fast-paced. Like, I found in Ottawa, a lot of times between the drills, we do sprints from boards to boards. But in Colorado, we just had 300s for our conditioning, so we did 3 300s. And that was it. Just because the drills we were always running, we were always going. So that's one of the biggest differences I found between those two camps.
It's also a huge camp. If I remember it right, you almost had 2 teams you were carrying through preseason. It's like 8, and all of a sudden it's an entire different lineup for the second half of the game. So that's a little daunting to know that you have that many people you're trying to compete for a few spots.
Well, it was nice, though. Like, I think that was majority for the offense. They wanted to get the offense guys in there. So, I mean, it was a little bit tougher for them when you're only playing a half. But luckily for us on defense, they were able to kind of keep all of us in there and played each game. So I was fortunate for that, where I wasn't having to go warm up and then sit for a half and get cold and then go back out there, or go play and then sit and watch for the second half. So I was fortunate enough to play the full games.
Right. What'd you learn about yourself competing for roster spots, good and bad?
Just kind of that, like, no matter what happens, you just kind of always got to go hard and give it your all. Like, if you have a bad game, you can't get mad at yourself with that. Like, I had a bit of a rough game against the Rock, but those kind of things happen. You kind of have to look past that. It's one of those that if you're on the team in the season, you might get chewed out a little bit, but in training camp, you're kind of fighting for a spot. So if you have a bad game and someone else has a good game, it doesn't look the best on you, but you can't look back at it and say, like, that's how I play all the time. Everyone has a bad game every now and then. You just kind of have to look at it, reflect on it, see what you weren't doing well, pick at it, work on it, and then just keep moving forward.
Yeah, you almost have to be a goldfish and start over again.
Just forget about it.
Absolutely. Let's move internationally. Let's talk about the Rubeski tournament. One of my favorites was having Brady Kiernan on, and his recollection of his first time getting off the train and walking towards the rink, and you're in a neighborhood, people are walking dogs, people are going to school, and all of a sudden you walk into this complex and it's like, holy Jesus, and thousands of people all over the place. What was your first aha moment when you got off and were walking up towards where the rink was?
Yeah, like, walking up towards there, since when we got there first, there was no one there. It was just like you're in this middle of this town that's kind of on a bit of a hill, and it's like, where are we right now? Because then you look out past over the hill, and then it's a whole bunch of fields and stuff, and you don't see like a huge massive city or anything, and it's like, where are we? Then you walk out there, and then you see the turf field, but then there's no roof over it. You're used to seeing a roof over it, and there's bleachers, and they have a whole facility in there with change rooms and stuff. And it was then right next to it, obviously there's a bar connected to it. And it's like, God, it was just like, where are we right now? Like, what is this place? Because that's not something that you typically see over here at all. So it was just kind of like a surreal, eye-opening moment, just like how different it is when like you're overseas. It's like, it was definitely a cool experience. And then like going there for the first time and just seeing like on one of the days when all the teams were there, how packed it was. It was like shoulder to shoulder walking through to trying to get to the bleachers, walking around to get food. And then I remember there was one day I was sitting there and a couple of kids came up to me and they were asking me they were doing homework. They were doing schoolwork and they were saying, where's your favorite spot to shoot? Which side, like which way do you like to shoot? Do you like shooting overhand, sidearm, this and that? It was just kind of like these kids are out here during the middle of the school day and this was their schoolwork to come watch lacrosse and ask about lacrosse. And it was surreal, especially when when the local team was there. It's just all of a sudden there's 3,000 people in the middle of this little town that has some small rink here. That's like, what's going on? It was just kind of, I was at a loss for words. It was a surreal moment just kind of looking out there. And it's like, where am I right now? I'm somewhere in Europe playing lacrosse and there's 3,000 people in this little town kind of in the middle of nowhere almost, just watching and cheering on almost like there was a professional soccer game going on. So it was definitely a cool experience to see that.
Right. How about your take on European lacrosse? Because something I've noticed over the years is it's getting better and better and better. And even teams that really weren't on the map are now not only on the map, they're probably midway towards getting to the top part of that.
Yeah, it was cool to see. Like you could definitely see on some teams, it's like this guy knows how to play lacrosse. Like he knows exactly what he's doing. It's like he's making all the right plays, making the nice toe drags, the swims, the pickups and everything, and good shots, like the bouncers and everything, shooting around screens. And it's like they're picking up pretty quick over here. So it's nice to see that kind of how lacrosse isn't just in North America, how it's all over the world. And it's awesome to see that so many places are picking it up. So that way in the future, it kind of be like hockey where you can get all these different countries to come in and play. And it's every single game is like a hard fought battle because everyone knows exactly how to play it to the highest level and everyone has the same amount of years of experience. And it was cool to see.
It's also pretty cool because, you got a who's who of lacrosse out there and playing for quote unquote for fun. But there are so many different minds just to pick, as you're having a beer off to the side watching the game and just kind of pick their ideas and, just listen to this, that, and the other, and some of the war stories and the other things that go on along that. I always thought that was one of the more magical things is it's just there and it just happens.
That is pretty cool because I remember I was talking to, I think it was one of the guys on the German Shepherds from the team from Germany. They were saying like when they go play, they have to take the train all the way over to sometimes like to another country pretty much because obviously it's close enough, or they have to travel like couple of like 3 hours, 4 hours on the train just to get there, hop off and play their game just for like a regular season game. Where when I grew up playing, I'm driving 20 minutes to the rink because it's right there. And then I have an away game that's only 40 minutes away at the other end of the city and stuff. So it was definitely very cool to see how committed they were. Like they love the game and it doesn't matter where it is or how far they have to go. They're all going to pack up on the train with their gear and everything, hop on there, sit on the train for 4 hours, hop off, go play, and then come take the train right back home. So it's really cool to see that.
You there, Gary?
Right. Oh, okay. We had Adam Sherpas, who's the commissioner for NLL. I'm here.
Yeah.
Me and internet, they don't seem to go hand in hand here. But I say Adam Sherpas, who was the commissioner of the NBLL, we had him on the show and he was talking about the league there, which is an 80-game year. Split up, of course, into different sections. And they have an all-star game and all kinds of things. I think Eddie Renault was even asked to go and play for one of the teams for their playoff run. Has that ever interested you to maybe go out there and maybe try a season of playing out there and seeing what that's all about?
I think, yeah, if I got asked, depending on how everything's going, because when I got released from the Blackbirds the first year, they said just because I hadn't played Senior A or Junior A, so that's why my main goal was to play Senior A last year, and that's why I played with Brooklin Lacrosse Club and had an amazing, great, fun year with them there. But things look good in the future and I get asked, I'd absolutely kind of love to go out there and do it. Just see how the lacrosse is out there and see how they play it over there, because everyone plays it differently, as you were saying before. Everyone kind of has their own style, has their own little tune to the game that they do to it. So it would definitely be cool to see and pick their brains out there, because maybe they play a different style that I don't know about, that I might pick one or two things up that they do that might help my game or that I like. So it'd definitely be a cool experience to go out there and play that, especially in a different area. Right. Like the OLA is kind of one of the main spots for lacrosse in Canada, and going to a different spot where it's not the OLA, just seeing what it's like out there would be really cool.
Right. Yeah, the Brian Whitmer story actually comes to mind more than anything. He was playing for USA and went out there and basically uplifted his life. And now he's got the good stick company and saves him fortunes. Instead
Yeah.
of having to get a stick that's made in China to bring it back to North America to send it back out there, he's actually doing it all there and 3 blocks away from the Raditon place.
Yeah. That
The
is
other
cool to see that and everything.
Right. The other thing that's interesting was just the history of that spot. And it was Dave Denenberg from the Tel Aviv team who actually sent me a picture of Hitler marching his officers on that ground where you guys are playing. And that was just kind of surreal when I started looking, at the barracks or your change rooms and then looking at the field and as it's evolved into what it is now. And to think back, 80 years ago and go, what the, my God, how we've evolved, shall we say.
It definitely was crazy hearing about that, just saying like you're running out there and playing where some of the troops marched and where they were like a part of the world wars and stuff. And it was really kind of crazy to see. And when I was in there walking around, just kind of taking the tour on the building on my own, like you'd see all the old war pictures that were in there and everything. And I found that really cool because I like history a little bit and I always took like World War history classes and stuff in school. So it was kind of cool to see that because you always hear about and stuff and learn about where they were and everything. So kind of being able to be in a spot where they were was definitely, it was a weird experience. Like I never thought I'd be in a spot where they actually were marching around. Like they used this area, they sat here, they ate here, they slept here. It was definitely, it was a cool experience to be able to kind of be in a place like that.
One of the other things also is that Hitler loved Prague and he never bombed it. So that's why we have 800-year-old buildings and castles and things like that we could actually take in and see what the architecture was and what some of the other nuances of 500-600 years ago was all about.
Yeah, it was a beautiful city. I absolutely loved it. Going and seeing all the old architecture and everything, and walking around the old town. It was crazy how they were able to kind of build buildings back then with what little that they had, and everything was by hand, and how long it must have taken them. Like the one church that we were at, that we saw that burnt down multiple times, but just kept getting rebuilt, which was pretty cool to see how they just didn't stop, just kept building, and it's just like an absolutely beautiful building.
And I have a classmate who lived there, who still lives there, moved back years ago. And so I kind of have my own little tour guide there to see the non-touristy things.
Yeah.
But he explained to me, you walk through these things where there's like a tower, you go through there. And apparently Prague was gated at one point, and there's 4 of those things. And they poured hot oil on anybody trying to invade, which would explain why nobody really invaded.
That would make a lot of sense. I wouldn't want to invade something like that.
No. And you know what the end game is right off the bat. That's I'm staying home. Yeah. You guys have fun. Now, you mentioned about playing for Brooklyn. I brought out one of the old Brooklyn Redmond shirt for you. It's actually Mark Matthews' deal. So let's talk about jumping in with them and your form with Major Series.
It was awesome. It was definitely like a little bit quicker than coming up from Senior B, because a lot of those teams, especially like Six Nations, was just pretty much an all-star team. And Peterborough, like all the teams, have a bunch of pro lacrosse players that come back down and play in that league. And just playing with all those, like playing with Holden Garland, Ryan Barnable, Zach Young, Liam Byrne, and a whole bunch of guys that I can name on the back end there, just being able to kind of pick their brains every time that we were playing. It was really awesome. Like I learned a lot from them, and just like kind of how to be able to play at the next level. And obviously having Higgy and Oilerman in the net backing you up is pretty 2 good goalies to have in net there for the summer league. So it was definitely a cool experience, just kind of playing against those guys, especially like our first game against Six Nations. You're out there playing against Ryan Smith, Dane Smith, Josh Byrne, Randy Stotts, Lyle Thompson, Shane Jackson, or who else was out there? Dougie Jameson, Dawson Theed, and all those guys. It's just, and like Latrell Harris, Tyson Bell, and all those guys on the back end. It was just a crazy kind of experience, just kind of seeing like this is a whole bunch of guys that I grew up kind of watching when they were in there, and playing against them now was a surreal experience for sure.
I would also think about going into Peterborough and you're walking into a place that has 4,000 people for a game. And I think about the playoff series, and by an eyelash, you guys really should have been into the finals, because it sure looked like you had their number in most of those games.
Yeah, and that was definitely one that all the guys who have been there before, because Peterborough was always knocking them out, so it was definitely one that they were gunning for. And then we came off a little slow, but everyone kind of, I could look around the room and kind of see how important it was for everyone, like how much this game really meant, and how kind of, I guess, pissed off they were at Peterborough for knocking them out the past few years. So everyone played with like a lot of heart and intensity. It was just, and as you're saying, going in there, it's like a Wednesday night. There's 3,000-4,000 people in there. It's absolutely packed. It was a crazy experience. It was really cool to play in there.
Right. Well, Peterborough goes one step further. It's almost like watching Friday Night Lights. Is the entire town shuts down
Yeah.
while it goes on, and leading up to it, pregame at the bars and things like that, and then everybody winds up at the arena together, and everybody winds up after, for a few drinks and things like that. So it's a culture. It's not just a game.
Yeah, it's awesome. I always tell about it, talk about it to my buddies at work. It's like the whole community is there on a Wednesday night. Like, it's crazy. It's almost like they're going to watch like a hockey game,
Yep.
like going to watch an NHL game out on a Wednesday night. It was really cool to see that. Like, there was not, I don't even think there's like a single seat in there that I could see that was empty. Everyone
Right.
was everywhere, and they're there early too, like an hour before we're doing our warm ups. There's already people in their seats having their popcorn and stuff and having their drinks, and it was cool. People weren't flowing in right at the end, just 5 minutes before the game starts. They're in there an hour before, 30 minutes before, and it
Hmm.
was cool to walk out there for the first time and kind of look up and around. It's like, wow, there's a lot of people here.
Let alone looking at all the banners, everything like that. Between the
Yeah.
pizza on one side and the Lakers on the other side, it's like, holy wow! It really is its own little niche. But what do you think? Because I love summer ball. I actually love it more than I love NLL. And what do you think is the reason why we can't get more butts and more seats in more arenas?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just it's during the summer and people are always kind of out and they're doing stuff. If they have a college or something and they're always out. Because there's not much really else kind of going on. Like, football's over at that point, so no one's really watching football games or anything. There's not really much going on. I don't know if there's just no appeal just because it's not considered professional, but meanwhile, it is pretty much professional because everyone in there, besides maybe a handful of guys, aren't professional because they're coming up from junior and they're going to get drafted, or because
Yep.
they're right there on a cusp, kind of fighting for a spot, fighting for a roster spot. So I don't know if it's might just be the location for some spots because you're not playing out of a big arena where it's close to everyone. Like, when we played in Owen Sound, we played out of the Meaford Center this year. And when I first
Yeah.
pulled up, I was like, am I in the right spot? Like, the community center, I wasn't really sure. So,
Right.
and
Okay, don't make fun of me for now.
it was a great barn to play in, but it was definitely, I was confused at first. I was like, we're right by the water here pretty much. So I was confused, but I don't know if it's like advertising because obviously for
Right.
NLL there's TV advertising, so you can reach a lot more people with that. And kind of here in Senior A, it's kind of posts on social media, but it's more kind of posted towards the local teams that are there and the people that follow it. So the people that are on the team and the families, obviously, it's not kind of going out to a whole nother community that might know of lacrosse or like, oh, we went to a few games during the winter and watched them play. But if there was more going on, they might come out during the summer to come watch it, but they just might not know about these games that are going on.
Perception
Right.
is a
Now,
big deal too.
Yeah.
How people perceive the game.
I'm a little older than you, and I would remember the heydays where Brampton was full, where the Iroquois Park was full. And, those were great days, and they were great energy to come to the game, and people gravitated around each other. They got to know each other. There wasn't many places where they could go where they didn't know at least a handful of people. So I would love it to come back to something like that. And
Yeah.
kind of like the Peterborough idea, just in all the other towns, because it would just, elevate the experience. And really, for $10 or whatever it costs people to go watch NLL players, and you're paying 50, 60, $80 in the wintertime to go watch them, and
Yeah.
much more accessible.
I find it more fun in summer ball too, just because the goalies have the bigger sticks too. So it's a little bit harder to score. So there's kind of more skill and craftiness that has to come into it. And the rules are a little bit different. So I just kind of find it more fun that way. And I feel like some people that they might want to come watch it, they find it more fun too. Like, for here, us out in the summer, there's really the only lacrosse for us to watch during the summer is our junior B team. So when we did our run and we won the Founders, everyone was kind of out there watching, and now all the kids are out there. When I go back to watch a few games, it's always usually packed with a couple hundred people in there watching. So it's always nice to see that people go out there and watch it. Like if there was a senior A team here in Ottawa, I bet there'd be hundreds of people that would go out and watch it and probably be just like Peterborough games. But
that would be amazing. And that would be just something to grow the game in a different spot as well. And it might help with Black Bears attendance as well, because working part and parcel winter and summer and seeing if these teams cannot, work with it. I still don't understand why they don't work with the OLA and, kids get in for free for this, or, wear your jersey and come on in and, just to try and associate with it. And, what better way to get experience and really get that fire going.
Yeah. I know at one point they did have like their Zone 5 shirts that had all the different local, there's different zones here and teams on the back and stuff. So I know those shirts kind of sold pretty quick right away because all the little kids want them and stuff. But I agree with that. Like, especially letting the younger kids in, they come, they wear their jerseys. Everyone's wearing their jerseys and stuff. Get in for free. Like, obviously the kids aren't going by themselves. Like, their parents are paying for it. So you're not just paying for 2 tickets. Now you're paying for 4. And that way I feel like if you can let those younger kids in for free instead of a parent only bringing 2 kids, maybe they bring a whole bunch more kids. They have family down. They bring them because the kids get in for free. And then those parents come because it's like, we're not paying tickets for us and the kids. The tickets are just for us. So it seems cheaper and stuff, and more people come and watch. And then if things in the future change, more people are going to keep coming, and then you end up making more ticket sales, more revenue.
That's the idea. It brings the culture. Yeah. And then that's the place to meet, and that's the place to do. And then that becomes the center hub. And that's the idea. And then, everything else builds from there. We had Mark Millen on not that long ago, and he always mentioned about we spend so much money on club teams and above about kids who want to be pros. We seem to neglect the grassroots and the house leagues and things like that. The kids who don't want to be a pro but love the game. And we want to nurture them because that's our fan base. And as they grow up, they're going to go to the games. They're going to bring their families to the games. Eventually, they're going to have families and bring them to the games and things like that. Did we miss the boat? Or are we, or are we starting to get the idea that we need to spend more time on the grassroots idea?
I feel like it's kind of mixed a little bit. Like we are getting a bit of a grasp, and we aren't. Because I remember when I was younger, the jerseys that we had all the different NLL teams. So I picture myself, like I played the 1 year I was the Nighthawks, the 1 year I was the Mammoths. So I was pretending like when I was younger, I was playing for them and stuff. And now it's just different colored Nepean Knights jerseys. There's a blue one, there's a black one, there's a yellow one and stuff like that. So kind of getting that jersey too. And I could wear it like when I was watching games when I was younger, I could put the jersey on when I'm watching the game and wear it around and stuff. But I feel like it also kind of has to deal with how many kids are in the community, because I feel like the places that are doing well with lots of kids playing and coming in, they've obviously got a handle on it and going back to the roots and getting people involved and wanting to come play. But the other areas where the culture is not that big there, those might be the areas where they don't really have a grasp on it yet. Maybe it's an area where lacrosse just kind of got brought into and not a lot of people know about it, haven't really seen and haven't been taught about it. So you need kind of more people to go in there and just, I guess, spread the game, spread the culture a little bit more.
Right. Now you're playing presently with the ALL, and again, I love the thing. I'm doing the media for it, so I really have a great time with it. Talk about getting into the league there and how important that league is in putting people towards the NLL, because I think they put something like 35 players in the NLL now that have stayed.
Yeah, I think it's kind of really important because like before this league, you weren't really doing anything. It was kind of doing wall ball in your own time. You weren't playing games. Like it's a lot different playing wall ball and playing pass with yourself, or just playing pass with a buddy. You're shooting on an empty net versus actually going out there, getting on the floor, having good reps. Like another guy who's really good out there playing right now that should be up on a team is Aaron Woods. Like he's a great player. He's out there. So playing against guys like him each time, and then you have practice players that come down too that you're playing against. And then like what I first found the big difference was going out there and shooting on goalies with spoons, because I've never shot on goalies with spoons before until obviously the camp with Ottawa. So it was a little different. Right. You don't have that massive woody there. You can shoot a little differently. The nets are a bit bigger. The crease rules are different, especially for a D guy. Now the angle is a little bit different because they can jump from behind the net. They can jump through the crease. There's no crease. So you have to play a different style of D. So it just kind of helps you adapt, and getting the ball over half, and the face-offs too were a little different. So you're out there, and there's little tidbits that are just kind of all different going up there. So being able to pick up on those and just being able to still play a game and I'm not playing anymore. I didn't make a team, so now I've just got to do something on my own to stay active and wait for a call. But now coaches can actually actively recruit. So if guys get injured, maybe someone wasn't doing what they thought they'd be able to do, and if they get brought down, you're still being seen all the time. So kind of every game matters, which is really nice, and it's fun too. Like everyone out there wants to be there, wants to play. It's not like a beer league. Everyone's there. Right. Everyone who is there wants to be there. So because you got to drive all over the place for like Brampton, Oakville, Oshawa, Six Nations. So if they didn't want to be there, they wouldn't drive there, but everyone drives there because they want to play. So
right. And it's another one where these are a hell of great games, and usually 1-goal games and all these other things. So again, for people to come out, for $10 to watch NLL caliber and watching guys absolutely put it on the line, because nobody's taking a shift off. In fact, I think they're putting more in than some of the other games we've watched. And with NLL style coaching, from right up when you guys walk into the arena to walking out of the arena, everything is with a purpose. And I think that rubs off on whoever's there.
Yeah, especially because a lot of guys too, they're out there playing to kind of fight for a spot to make a team. So they've kind of got a lot more to lose, and all these guys are trying to make it up there. So they're playing hard, as you said, every single game and fighting for a spot. It is cool to see that, how people understand that. And it just makes the games like a little bit more grittier and stuff, because everyone's a little bit more tenacious and they got a little bit of fire in their mind and stuff to try and go make a good play, make the right plays and everything, and kind of show the coaches and the scouts that are watching, like, this is what I got. Like, I'm that good. I can make it to that next level. So definitely is a little bit more fiery and fast, and it's fun though. I love it.
Right. And you're a prime example of guys driving long ways. Like, it's not around the corner for any arena for you.
Yeah, no, closest one is Oshawa, which is like 3.5 hours. But I mean, it's worth it though. I mean, I love the game. So if I can play anywhere, like, I'll go there and play. If it's 6 hours away, like Six Nations is 6 hours away, like, I'll drive there and go play. I want to play, so I'm gonna do whatever I have to do to drive out there. So
right. What do you do in all that time though?
I don't know. I guess
you got somebody to go through, or you usually have somebody to drive with you.
Sometimes I'm driving by myself. Like if it's to Oshawa and it's the middle of the day, it's not that bad. It's only 3.5 hours. I have a cottage that's also just past Kingston, so if I really need to, I can crash there. And then it's only like a 2.5 hour ride. And guys have also offered for me to stay at their house, but usually my parents love watching me come play as well. So one of them will usually come drive down with me and stuff. So
right. And you're with a very storied program over playing with Whitby. They've had a lot of success over the years, and this year a little bit more of a rebuild. But you still got so much talent on that team. Like I've said in the power rankings, it's only a matter of time before you guys get this whole thing together and you start looking down at the rest of the teams in there.
Yeah, I've noticed it just because everyone's new, so it's a bunch of new faces. People just kind of getting acclimated with each other, seeing how each other play, who fits what type of role and stuff, and we're starting to kind of figure it out over these past couple of games of how we're working, and obviously the offense, new faces and stuff. So those guys are figuring out how each other play and who likes to do what, who likes setting picks and shooting from where and everything like that. So they're starting to click, and I feel like eventually we'll start to get rolling. So
right, definitely. So what's on the docket for Nate Woods? What's upcoming? Are you going back to Europe?
Yeah, we'll be going back to Europe. My buddy got in for the Prague tournament, so we'll be going with a bunch of Nepean alumni and other guys that are kind of from the area and stuff that we can get a couple extra guys like the Brodeur brothers. Brian Brodeur, he went to Tampa and stuff. Cam Brodeur went to Duke and everything. Those guys should be coming, I believe, and it'll be fun. It'll definitely be fun because last time when I went with the Gaels, I didn't really know anyone there besides Brady, but it was a great experience meeting a bunch of new people and everything. But I feel like it'll be different playing with a bunch of guys that I used to play with. We all know how we play and stuff, so that definitely be a fun experience because there are some guys it's their first time going. So kind of having one trip over there under my belt is kind of nice. So I can I know where I'm going. I know places to go and stuff and things to see and go see things that I didn't see. So and kind of help them a little bit, but still going to be pretty fresh in my mind when I get back over there.
Absolutely. And nothing can beat that transit system because you can get anywhere. Unless,
that was crazy seeing that, because I'm out from Ottawa. We don't really have that system here, so I'm usually driving everywhere and just being able to walk out. Then you go down, take a subway, take a train for about 15 minutes, and then you're that far away. It's like, it's crazy. It is really cool to see.
Absolutely. I love it that, you can be 20 minutes out of Prague and you're in Radisson, and another 20 minutes you're back downtown Prague, and you're right there at all these sites and things like that. Hop back in, and it's literally it's that fast, and
yeah,
and it's on an app on the phone, so even a guy like me, oh yeah, here's the bus, whoop, there I go.
Yeah, it's perfect. That's the one thing I was worried about. I'm like, we're taking these. It's like, obviously that's not in our language and stuff, trying to figure out when to get off, like which one to hop, which train to hop on and stuff. I was worried about, but obviously there was guys that have been there before that did it, but it was pretty easy to understand. So it's crazy how good their system works there. I loved it.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. But I wish you all the best, and I look forward to seeing around some of the ALL arenas, as well as I look forward to seeing you in Prague.
Thank you. I look forward to seeing you in Prague too. It'll be good.
Yeah, I really want to thank you for taking the time. I know you got a busy schedule, and talk to us about lacrosse.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for having me on. I really appreciate it for you reaching out to want to have me on here. So it was awesome. I had a great time.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for me as well, Nathan. It's great to talk to you and listen to some of the excitement that you feel. And I got to tell you, when you go to places where you don't know lacrosse exists, it must be a lot of fun, the reaction that people give you. You're surprised how curious they are about what you do.
It is, especially over there, like a lot of people, because people come over from Canada and stuff, we play it way differently. So just seeing how, like when I went to school, throwing behind the back passes or cripplers, just the different style of play of how we play it. They're all kind of amazed by it, and they pick it up. And then probably if you're someone who goes back, like Gary, go back every year, you can probably see how those guys who watched it, they picked it up. Now they're doing it. And it's the little things that just pick up and just kind of grow the game all over the world, which is awesome to see.
I really appreciate you doing that, Nathan. Thanks for being on the program. It was really interesting listening to your story. Another great story about another great lacrosse player. Thanks for doing this.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
Well, for Gary Groob and Nathan Woods, I'm Candid Frank Stanisci. Thank you for watching NLL Lacrosse Talk for this week, every Thursday at 4 o'clock. Special time for our very good friend, my new friend, Nathan Woods. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.